Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SC-Talk und ich habe ein interessantes Interview mit NeutriSci. Er ist Glen, Rehman, er ist der President und CEO. Ich habe einen Conflict of Interest, ich bin Aktionär und das letzte Mal haben wir gesprochen im November, es war glaube ich so Mitte November, und da ist darum gegangen auch Japan, Produkteinführung und dass da etwas gehen soll. Jetzt hat es zwei wichtige News gegeben, die genau das betreffen und deswegen haben wir gedacht, schauen wir mal, ob wir ein Interview zusammenbringen. Es hat ein bisschen Zeit gedauert, bis dass wir das irgendwie koordinieren können auf die Schnelle, aber wir haben es jetzt endgültig geschafft. Glen, thank you for your time, and I say it in my German introduction. First, I have a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
I'm a shareholder.
sure.
Second is, I think our last interview was in November, middle of November, end of November, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And we talk about that your maybe first product or product what's coming up is in Japan, and you're
Yep,
working hard on this deal. And the
yep,
last two press releases, one was in January where you announced this deal, and the second
hmm
was also very important. Last was this on Monday or on Monday? I think this was on
yep,
Monday that you have this Harmonized Code or something what you need in Japan
yep,
that you can. Is this
yep.
very important that you can sell then this product to the market?
Correct, correct. Yeah. So the harmonized code has been in the approval stage for some time, and it was finally approved late last week on Friday. So we put a press release out on Monday regarding that. Much awaited. And what it does is it essentially completes the entire process for us to import product into Japan. The harmonized code is important because it provides a classification of the product at the customs level. It has to deal with where the category of the product is going to be, all of those types of details. So important hurdle to get through. We got through that. It wasn't anything other than just a combination of time, COVID, resources available on the Japanese side, just a process that had to be put through. So that's all completed, and now we are in the production phase of that first Japanese order that we announced. We received the Japanese order. We are now clear and ready to go for importation into Japan. So we just put the stuff together now and get ready to ship.
Okay, and you write that your partner there have 46,000 destination in the whole
Yep,
country. So
yep,
that must be a really big company. 46,000 is that's a size.
yep,
It's a big size.
yeah, yeah. They're working with two different distributors.
Hmm.
And one of the distributors is one of the biggest distributors in Japan. They have access to the 46,000 locations across Japan, and it's
Can you
going into
say
places.
the name?
Well, they have access to places like Lawson's, 7-Eleven, and a number of other locations that they have available to them. So the product is slated to be carried by a number of these places, and over the next few weeks here, we're going to finish off the production of the product, get the product on a boat, and sent over to Japan.
So
So we look
that's
forward to the completion.
yeah. So when we can expect really the first sales of this?
So the way the relationship works with us is we are the contract manufacturers of private label product. So we build the product in the U.S. and we ship it over to Japan.
Hmm.
Once it leaves our dock, that's where we kind of step aside, and then they take care of the distribution and marketing and sales over there.
Hmm.
Our responsibility is to produce the product, package it up, essentially get it to the point where it's ready to ship, put it on skids, etc. That's where our interest kind of stops.
Okay.
Um, and then we receive our revenue from that point, and then after that, they're involved in the sales.
To get it at the point when the product is on the ship, you get paid, or you get
Yes.
paid when he sell it into the.
No, no. Our
Okay.
current terms are prior to shipping.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we have an arrangement that has deposits, and then payment upon shipping is our terms.
And what is the volume of the first order?
The volume of the first order we will come out with. There's a couple of reasons why we haven't announced it. is one of the reasons is the ability for competitors to essentially calculate what their payment is. You know, if we went and we said, okay, the product value is $1, and we have 4 units that we're selling to them, you know, it's pretty easy for the competitors to figure out what the price point is, right? That we're manufacturing for. So we are going to be announcing something to that effect in the very, very near future here. But for now, we're just holding off on that until we can have a conversation with them and just make sure that what we announce, you know, everybody's on side. Yeah. I can tell you, I can share with you that it's hundreds of thousands of units, and it's a significant dollar value for us and for the company.
But at least when we see the SEDA filings of the quarterly results, then we see
what see the kind volume, of
the revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we then cannot calculate it on down, then we don't exactly know how many products, but in general we know about. But for us as a shareholder, it's only interesting, speaks we hear from $10,000 or we speak from $100,000 or $1 million. This is the interesting point, I think.
Yeah, it's a significant order, significant opening order, and one that I think shareholders will be happy with.
Opening order is good. Then opening order means always there's a second order or third order or something.
100%, right? You have to have, you know, second and third orders. And the way that I've kind of slated out on the whiteboard is if we start off with quarterly orders, that'll be a good thing for us. And you know, part of the reason is it allows us to have our lead times with our manufacturers plus our production time. In addition, we're not going to be flying the stuff over. We're not going to put containers on an airplane. So that has to go on a boat. And a boat, you know, typically a boat would take about 15 to 20 days, and then a couple days for customs clearance. Then you got to factor in just the current climate that has COVID and all that is related. So, you know, we've kind of said, well, let's just earmark 30 days for shipping and customs and, you know, whatever, right? Sometimes it sits on a dock on the West Coast in the U.S. for a day or two, you know, all of those types of things. So that's why I say if we look at it and we say initially we start off with quarterly orders. We do 4 orders, and we go from there. It's pretty good. Now, if you want to sit there and you look at the number of locations that the product has available, if you want to look at just sell-through, simple math would dictate to you that the amount that they've ordered, which is a very significant amount from a dollar value and a quantity perspective, any sort of demand would be increasing that volume significantly. And even if you just keep the same value, the same volume over the 4 quarters, it's a pretty significant number for the company. So.
Okay, this is the first lead order. I think that the first product is always the most difficult product, or the first deal. This kind of deals is always difficult. But what's now next? Is there maybe you bring more product on it, so different products, or they going? I think I remember me right. If I remember right, you say also that this maybe Japan is only one point, but then they are looking for other Asian countries too.
Correct. So there's a couple things here. There's another SKU that we are in development with them on already, and that is at the packaging level right now. It's fairly simple to do, but it just takes a bit of time. And the next order that we'll be receiving from them related to that SKU is a bulk bottle. So a bottle that has 500 milligrams in it, roughly 35 tablets or so in the package. We haven't received that order, but that is under development. So that is another order that will be coming. And then part 2 to that is, yes, we have with them and partner relationships that they have already begun discussions with other neighboring countries within the region where we can take the product and distribute it across those regions. In addition, they also look to sell the product in the U.S. Initially online, I think is their initial goal. but that is one of the areas as well. So the product, is not just going to be in Japan. There's a bit of a roadmap over the next 12 months from a distribution perspective, and from a product secondary SKU perspective. There's also another product that is underway. So
okay, we can expect more products, we can expect different countries. And maybe also that the same group coming over to US and sell the product in the US via online. Okay.
Yeah, and ultimately, when you're selling a product like this, the consumers also give you feedback. They also, you get if you ask the questions, they'll say, "Hey, what about if we have a different flavor? Pick a flavor. I don't know what it might be." Right. That just is another SKU. Right. The other opportunity is the retailers will, based on demand, say, "Hey, what if we had a product that had more volume in it?" That type of a thing. So there's plenty of opportunities to do that, and all of that will come to fruition once we get products out.
One interesting question for me. You said you have a 3 or a 7 tab stick so far. What are the costs in Japan for this product? The single product.
They haven't determined necessarily that just yet. I can tell you that based on comparable products, and by the way, I firmly believe, I don't see any reason why this product can't be, at the very least, the top 3 seller in Japan. The types of products that are on the shelf in Japan right now, there's nothing like this product. Absolutely nothing. There's oils, tinctures, that type of thing. But there is nothing like this product on the shelf. And just with the packaging, the price point, it's very affordable. It's not going to be priced cheap, but it's going to be priced effectively. And at the end of the day, there's nothing like this product on the shelf whatsoever. So,
only for my better understanding, to speak about $10 or speaking about $50 or what else?
Yeah, I mean, every retailer is a little bit different, right? Like a convenience store is a little bit different than a grocery store and a retail location. However, so the pricing models that they're going to put in place might vary slightly. But at the end of the day, all these retailers don't want to be undercut by another retailer. So I think you're looking at a price point of around $25 to $30 for this product on the store shelf. And those are significant margins for the retailer and for them and for us as well. So pricing works out nicely.
Okay, but this is one way of distribution. And if I remember correctly, you say you have 3 or 4 ways where you can work. This is a private level, but you have work also maybe on your own levels and co-level. So how the other stuff look?
So you're correct. This is a complete private label product. It's their own brand. They came to us and said, "Hey, we'd like a product that kind of falls in line with these spectrum, this details that we'd like to have for a finished product." We said, "Sure, let's do it." So we create the product, we create the packaging, we do a special formulated recipe for them. Obviously, the key ingredient is manufactured specifically for them. And then there's other opportunities with other groups. For example, in the US, we have private label products where we have other groups that have come to us and said, "Hey, we want to create another product line." Great, we can insert that. We can do co-branding products where we essentially will partner with another agency. They might have 1 or 2 ingredients that they need to put into a finished product. We have the capability to say, "Okay, we'll take those ingredients, we'll incorporate it into our technology." We've got the infrastructure in place where we have manufacturers for ingredients. We've got packaging in Asia. We've got logistical distribution. We have quite a full toolbox. So we can provide the technology and do a licensing fee or take a percentage of the revenue or both. So the toolbox allows us to essentially, either A, give an entire toolbox to somebody and let them run with it, or B, kind of do a hybrid half and half scenario, or C, just we take care of everything. And then like Japan, they just take the finished product and they handle the distribution and marketing and things like that. So there's a number of ways that we can go, a number of different opportunities. And I will say that the Japanese border, the approval process, it's very stringent, very, very strict, very detailed. The fact that we have a product, I know shareholders probably look and roll their eyes and say it hasn't been that quick. In fact, it actually has been a fairly quick process to go from concept to approval to get the product on the shelf. It takes quite a long time to do something like that in Japan. So we've been able to expedite that process quite effectively, and it's really just partner relationships and product, the effectiveness of the product, etc. So we've been able to expedite that process, and that has helped us with other people, other companies, etc., in other jurisdictions that are quite interested, and we're having active talks with a number of people already on that.
Okay, come, but a little bit more into the details. When we look at now US or Canada, what do you plan for the next 12 months in these two countries?
So the US, we continue to work with our partners in the US. It hasn't been overly easy in the US. Again, COVID has been a key factor there. I will say that I'm not trying to make excuses, but I will say that just lockdowns and restricted movements and shortened hours by manufacturers, etc., hasn't been that easy to deal with, but we've been able to work through it. We look to take the product to market very shortly here in Washington. California is a bit of a different beast, and we continue to work through the details there. But Washington is coming online here fairly shortly, and we'll be able to, through our partners, get some product on the shelf and distribution. The other thing that's going on in Washington right now is some R&D work with some new products with our partners and the manufacturing facilities. We have access to some novel products that are getting buzz in the industry. So we've got active R&D development already for new product lines that are related to current developments in the industry. So I won't really go into too much detail about that because right now we're just formulating and putting the product together, and then we'll do some testing, etc. But with that comes a new product line, new distribution, and then there's two other states that our partners have also been able to cement deals with that we look to bring some more retail sales online there as well in the coming weeks and coming months there. So I'd say over the next, sorry?
Yeah, but we speak always, when we speak about the US, that we speak from the single individual state. So we cannot speak US and global. We must always look at the single state. Then it's not possible to make a rollout through the whole country.
Yeah, correct. So everything is statewide. So we've got 4 states on the go and in the hopper right now. And, we bring those 4 states online. We couple that with what's happening in Japan. We also have another partner that has the ability to distribute nationwide in the US. We're developing a product line for them, with them. I won't go into the detail just yet about that. But that is a new sector of the industry, and one that is moving quite quickly and blossoming quite quickly. So we look to take advantage of that. They have the supply. We talk about what we bring and what we do with partner relationships. They have the supply of the key ingredients, and they have the distribution already in place. And what they've done is they've said, we're supplying this product to a number of different groups. We have the ability and the connections. Why don't we create our own product and take it to market? So that's what we are doing. And that supplier is also a key supplier for us for Japan. So we already know that they have access to some significant volume. And so we're just putting together a finished product for that. And then we look to take that to the market fairly shortly as well.
So can we expect that the US or Washington state is the next state where you bring a product online, or is there other country, state or something where you say, okay, maybe this state is a little bit quicker or this country is a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, if the order will be this as of today, will be Japan number 1, Washington number 2, and then this new ingredient that could go nationwide in the US would be number 3. That would be the quickest ones right now. California, obviously, as I mentioned, is in the hopper and it's working. There's been some challenges there that we're working through, but for the most part, those are the top 3 that I would say over the next 30 to 45 days, we're going to see some good action on those.
Okay, 30 to 45 days is only 1.5 months.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That is a timeline. I can work with that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
then 40 days is nothing. It's always
goes quick.
It goes a little bit longer, or it takes a little bit longer than most people expect.
Well, I think by the end of, so let's call this the middle of March. That's already the 10th today, so let's call it middle of March. So by the end of April, you're going to see I believe you're going to see some pretty good movement on some of these things, and certainly some announceable stuff for sure.
Helps this first deal with SharePoint that it's speed up the other ones a little bit?
Yep. And the facility that we use for the Japanese deal will also work for that nationwide opportunity. So we got to get the Japanese order in and out as quickly as possible so that we can continue on doing some further production with the something beyond the R&D with this nationwide thing. So
okay. Glen, we are already at 20 minutes. So what are...
Sorry.
No problem.
I talk too much.
No, that's really, but it's very interesting. But when you go a little bit more to the details, it takes time, it's clear. Yeah. But what are the top 3 news what we can expect in the next 6 months?
Well, I think if, just what I described here, the Japanese order Washington, and then that new R&D product. The R&D product, it won't be a significant order initially because the points of distribution are plentiful, but it's a new product, right? Mm-hmm. So it will require, initial orders will be, let's put some product on the shelf and then let's see how it sells. Let's do some testing. Let's get some feedback. Let's get some real-time data, etc. Make sure the pricing is effective. Make sure the packaging is effective, the messaging, etc. What's the feedback at the store level? What are consumers saying, right? And then from that point, we can go and we can build out a more robust program, increase the size, the volume, etc. So, so that's what those top 3 will do. Those are basically the next 60-day items that we look to do. But as I said earlier, the next 45 days we should have some good news coming out about all 3 of those scenarios. And beyond the 60 days, you're looking at kind of middle of May, right?
I'm a little bit surprised when I look at the share price, and all the people can see it now. When the first news coming up, Japan, the share price is skyrocketing. Yeah.
Well, and I think the share price, once we're able to put the bow on this Japanese order and announce the details of that order, we will then be able to, I think, have an effective share price that people are going to go, you know what, this is significant. And this Japanese scenario alone, forget about the other opportunities that we have going on in other countries with them. Forget about Washington. Forget about this R&D product. Forget about the other 3 states. Just the Japanese order alone makes it a very nice company with a significant revenue and nice volume. So, beyond that, I think the share price is going to be reflected positively.
Yeah, that's the interesting point. That then coming up with the last press release, the code, what you get, the harmonized codes, and the reaction was really slow. So, but now you see really the progress, and I was a little bit surprised that there was not more reaction. Then the market cap itself is not really high.
Yeah. And I think from the shareholder perspective and potentially even consumer perspective, great, you got a harmonized code. Doesn't really mean that much to them, but I can promise you that, in the back end, the harmonized code is a very significant development and a very significant detail. And it's not an easy thing to get. Categorizing your product into a category that essentially is new, not to mention the product that you've made, there's nothing like it on the shelf. You have to categorize that. You got to remember, when energy drinks came out, Red Bull hit the market. There was no energy drinks on the shelf. That was a completely new category. They had to go and create a new category within the retail chain, within the coding system, within all these retailers, and that's essentially what we're doing in Japan. So it's not that we're doing another Me-Too product and we're having another loaf of bread. This is a completely different product with completely different ingredients that's going to be hitting the marketplace. So you have to put it in a proper positioning within a category that, one, doesn't put you in a pharmaceutical scenario, which is much longer, much more intense, much more expensive, but at the same time fits in with all the regulations that are government and health regulated, and then as well the retailers. retailers have their systems that they have to classify this in, and then they put it in their system and they get the order. So there's a lot that goes behind the scenes for this. So the shareholder looks at it and says, great, you got a harmonized code, big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal because it's a significant amount of things tied to it in the back end. And I don't expect them to understand or know that, but I think it's important that they do realize that getting a harmonized code like this paves the way for so many different opportunities for us, and not just completing the process in Japan, but just further validates the product and what we're doing. So, so it's a good thing. It's a big thing.
Okay.
But it'll come. Don't worry. I'm not worried.
Do you need any financing soon?
Do we need any financing soon? We don't have anything in the works right now. The margins on this order are good. The financing that I would look to do would be potentially revolving around expansion, potentially revolving around the R&D development of the products that we have in the hopper. We haven't gone out and done big financings in the past. We always look and evaluate every time we do financing. How much do we want? Should we take more? Should we take less, etc. So currently, we don't have anything in the works right now from a financing perspective. But that's not to say that we wouldn't have something in the future for sure. It's always on the table, right? You have to consider it.
Yeah. Okay, Glen, thank you for the update. Hopefully, we can do it in 2 or 3 months when we have all this good news coming up, so Absolutely. That we do a next update, so that we can see. Then now we wait for some big news in the next 60 days. The pressure is on you.
Pressure's on me, always. Yes, I get it. No problem.
Thank you for the update.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you. So, es war wirklich ein großartiges Update. NeutriSci ist erstes Produkt ist online, Japan. Jetzt ist der Harmonized Code gekommen. Das klingt nicht nach einer großen Sache, aber ich habe es jetzt extra auch nochmal gesagt, das ist eine große Sache. Denn im Hintergrund hat es eine ganz neue Produktkategorie gegeben, die angelegt werden musste. Und es klingt nicht nach viel, aber ohne diesen Code geht nichts. Und deswegen ist es eine sehr große Sache gewesen. So, sie sind jetzt gerade in der Produktion dieses Produktes. Es wird an 46.000 Verkaufsstellen verkauft. Die Tabletten kosten zwischen 3 und 7 Stück sind drinnen in so ein Röllchen. Und die kosten $25 ungefähr, $25-30, ist nicht ganz billig, aber nicht ganz teuer. So eine gute Preisklasse, je nachdem, aber in dem Bereich ungefähr sind es drinnen. Man kann sich auch vorstellen, dass man dann von hunderttausenden Produkten spricht oder Stückzahlen spricht, den allein 46.000, wenn da nur jeder einer kriegt, dann weiß man schon, dass da schon einiges weitergeht. Und das ist natürlich nur die erste Order und es ist wichtig, dass die erste Order dort einmal durch ist, dass die erste Order mal produziert wird. Das wird dann mit Schiff rübergeschifft und das Wichtige ist, ihr Job ist es, bis zum Schiff es zu machen und ab Schiff quasi ist das von ihrem Partner. Das ist ein Privat Label Produkt, das heißt, sie stehen offiziell nicht dort, sondern das ist halt einfach, sie produzieren das Produkt für den Kunden. So, was gibt es neue Produktmöglichkeiten? Also wenn wir jetzt nur Japan anschauen, da gibt es natürlich noch andere Produkte, das kann vom Flavor anfangen, also von Geschmacksrichtung, da gibt es jetzt 3 Richtungen, das kann aber auch von der Größe sein, da arbeiten sie an 500 Gramm, also halbes Kilo Pack, die 35 Tabletten drinnen haben soll, so ungefähr am Dreh, aber auch andere Länder, die rundum sind. So, das ist dieser Japan-Deal. Also der könnte relativ groß werden und also der ist vor allem auch finalisiert und es wird jetzt gerade das Zeug produziert und wird dann verschifft. So, wichtig ist, was könnte denn Neues kommen? Was kommen noch? Also welche Märkte können noch kommen? Das haben wir immer von Washington State. Das ist das nächste, was wahrscheinlich kommt. Und dann nationalweit wird online was ausgerollt. Da sollte man nicht mit den großen Stückzahlen rechnen. Aber was viel spannender ist, er hat das quasi für die nächsten 45 bis 60 Tage angekündigt. Also geben wir ihm 2 Monate Zeit, weil es dauert alles ein bisschen länger. Sagen wir mal bis Mitte Mai, Ende Mai sollte dort einiges passieren. Und dann sollte er nicht nur einen Revenue Stream haben aus Japan, sondern eben 2 dazu. Was auch noch wichtig war, ist für mich Finanzierung. Man sieht, der Aktienkurs hat auf die erste Meldung super reagiert. Der Spike im Jänner war ein Wahnsinn, jetzt weniger. Und deswegen ist die Aktie auch relativ günstig, Marktkapitalisierung 24 Millionen, das ist nichts. Und wenn dort jetzt natürlich dann wirklich 3 Produkte sind für in unterschiedlichen Ländern und Staaten bzw. Bundesstaaten in den USA und dann ist das eigentlich eine ganz interessante Kombination und dann bin ich eigentlich gespannt, wie die Aktie dann reagiert. Also eigentlich muss ich ja sagen, bis jetzt hat es sehr verhalten darauf reagiert. Wenn das alles umgesetzt werden kann und das auch alles so kommt, dann müsste eigentlich die Aktie viel, viel höher stehen. Wissen damals dann natürlich erst noch die Quartalsergebnisse, wenn wir tatsächlich sehen, wie viel Umsatz kommt rein. Da erwarte ich im ersten Quartal noch nicht wirklich viel, aber im zweiten Quartal müsste dort dann hoffentlich ein paar Millionen dort stehen an Umsatz und dann, glaube ich, ist die Aktie ganz woanders. Ja, das war ein Update von NeutriSci und wir haben heute den 10. März und viel Erfolg, viel Spaß beim Investment und wir hören uns in Kürze. Glen, thank you for your time and good luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Talk soon, Joe. Thanks. Bye-bye.